episode is sponsored by TGI Free, a dope local artist out of Indianapolis. Check out his music on Apple Music.
Damn, Zero. You are, we ain't, you is. You are, we ain't.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to the Storyline Podcast. I'm Felicia,
I'm Mike J.
and this is episode 5. Mike, we are on episode 5.
We here.
How are you?
I'm blessed. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's hot than up, but I'm doing good.
It
Doing
is.
good. So this week we had Night of Champions this weekend. There's a lot of stuff going on. We're going to get right into it because it's going to be a longer episode if we don't. So this week up front, I'm going to tell y'all right now, we are talking about culture, race, a lot of things that will probably irritate the fuck out of some of y'all because of our views. They may not align with y'all's. Our views may not align with each other, but it is what it is, and this is the conversation this week.
Facts. Absolutely.
Yeah, this week we're gonna be talking about SmackDown. Not as much because it was okay.
Yeah.
Night of Champions, the card of Night of Champions and the winners as well. Raw, and then we're gonna talk about culture. We're gonna talk about Tiffany Stratton, the Saudi Arabia crowd. Yeah, so let's get right into it. Mike,
Let's do it.
Night of Champions.
I think it was one of the better Saudi shows.
Yeah.
I don't like the disrespect on Jade Cargill.
I don't like the disrespect
the way
either.
they did her. Now, I appreciate the way when she left the ring.
Yeah.
One of the fans called her out, said something stupid.
They said, they were saying boo. They were booing her.
Yeah,
they were like,
said,
boo,
your
boo,
mama.
boo. And she said, boo your mom. And he said, fuck you. I thought that was so disrespectful. I thought it was so disrespectful.
This is also a Saudi crowd we talking about. And like we talked about before the podcast started, no smut on their name, but some of these overseas crowds don't really understand our movement the way we understand it.
Yeah. And or appreciate. Maybe we'll put it that way.
That's a better word. Yep. Appreciate.
Because they booed Bianca and during was it Europe when they were in Europe, they booed Bianca.
Yeah, going back to our main topic that we're gonna get to eventually.
Right.
I think us of color
is crazy. Black.
Okay.
You might as well say Negro.
Our black brothers and sisters are not appreciated.
And Cody Rhodes.
I mean, hell, we not appreciated here, but we definitely not appreciated beyond our borders.
Right.
Right. No smut. All right, I ain't gonna call nobody out in particular. The Hispanic community gets celebrated worldwide. The Japanese community gets celebrated worldwide. The Asian community, the Indian community.
Cool. And you're talking about in pro wrestling.
In pro wrestling. It seems like black men and women that are in WWE do not get the reverence and respect that they deserve when they go overseas. And that's a fucking problem.
It is a problem. It's a problem for me to see these women walk out and work their hardest and get booed and get told fuck you and shut. They were telling Naomi to shut the fuck up.
Exactly.
That is so. And I don't. When we chant, we boo, we say you suck, all kind of shit, clap hand, all of those things. We have all these chants, but the disrespect, blatant disrespect to these black women every time they step outside and they go to the ring is ridiculous. Absolutely. Because they're working just as hard as an Asuka. They were chanting and cheering for Asuka, but they were telling Jade, fuck her.
Yeah.
Which I thought was crazy. The same thing, booing Bianca in Europe, shut the fuck up for Naomi. It's just, and I understand Saudi Arabia's culture is totally different from ours. Their women have it a little different over there from what we have. So I can't speak on that, but I can speak on us even now and even here, the disrespect towards the black talent, and then the disrespect towards the black female talent in different countries.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. Unfortunately, I don't think it's a thing that's going to change no time soon.
Right.
Unless more people like us speak up and vouch for those that are. Because truth be told, the black talent in WWE, in my opinion, is by far probably the best. No smut on anybody else. No smut on anybody else. Because I love everybody that
I love all.
presents the
Yeah,
product
I
for
love all
us.
the talent.
I
I
love
really
all the
do.
talent. But you can't, nobody can look me in my eyes and go, Montez Ford should not be a main eventer.
I believe that he should. I'm not a big Montez Ford fan, which I've said before, but he should be. He should be a main eventer. He should be up front. He should be next in line.
Exactly.
However,
And
everybody next in line is Samoan.
on top of that,
Let's guess.
wait. Before we get to that, Naomi should be on the same level as Charlotte Flair. Naomi has the talent.
Yes.
She's put in the work.
She
She's had
has.
the years.
Yes.
She's been there as long as the Usos have been there.
Yes.
Longer than Seth Rollins has been there. Longer than Charlotte's been there. The only woman in the women's division that's been there longer than Naomi is Natalya. And I think Natalya deserves more.
I do too. I absolutely think Natalya deserves more, but you know, it is what it is. But before we get into those big topics, let's talk about
SmackDown and
let's talk about the Night of Champions and the winners of the Night of Champions and how the shit went. We had the first match, which was Randy versus Cody, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I went back and forth with people about this. Mm-hmm. I do not think that the Night of Champions, King of the Ring, should be Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. I do not believe that should have been a match. I feel like it should be more up and comings. They're already over. Why is Cody Rhodes King of the Ring in 2025?
They need to make sense for him to walk back into the title match with John.
Whatever.
It's not justified. It should have been somebody else.
It's the Randy and that didn't need to be them.
Yeah, you got two old timers. Yeah, fighting to fight an old timer.
For King of the Ring.
Yeah.
Like, I just didn't feel like that was necessary. Did I enjoy the match? I absolutely did.
It was a good match.
Yeah, my prediction was Cody Rhodes, and Cody Rhodes was the winner.
One out of between 1 and 5. How do you rate that match?
A 3.
3?
I put it in the middle. You know, they stood there for 15 minutes at the beginning.
They did.
So, you know, again, I know y'all want to agree with me on some of this. Night of Champions, 2 champions, King of the Ring, people that have been over forever.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't feel like it should have been it should have been other people.
I give it a 3 too. I get you.
I give it a 3.
It wasn't bad.
No.
But it wasn't amazing.
It wasn't, yeah.
And it was also kind of unnecessary.
Rhea Ripley and Raquel.
I love that.
I enjoyed it. And I want Raquel to skyrocket from here on out. I looked at Raquel. I said, "Oh, I love that bitch."
I said that last week. I said I thought she was going to win the match. She lost, but she came out better than she walked in.
Right. Because when I seen her on Raw, she had a different, you could tell it was different. Yeah. So I am going to give Raquel a chance because at first I was like, blah, blah, blah. But
welcome to the party.
I'm going to give Raquel a chance. I really love Rhea Ripley. Yes. But as time is going on, you know, we want new. And I think right now, Raquel, while Liv is gone, and, you know, obviously you don't want somebody to get better because somebody else is not around. But right now, I think that it's Raquel's time to shine.
Other old girl,
Roxanne
Perez.
And so my thing with Roxanne is they just gave her that belt, and I'm not really sure how I feel about that. I feel like they should have did it differently. But okay,
I see that they have both of them have the next 6 months. Yeah, they're probably gonna hold on to the tag team titles for the vast majority of it, but they both had the opportunity to elevate themselves within the women's division.
Right.
Where I think by the time Liv Morgan comes back, she might be able to the 3 of them might be able to have a damn near main event match at WrestleMania.
I would watch. I would be
Let
okay with
one
that.
of them get the women's title. Liv Morgan comes back. I'd be willing to watch that as a main event. As a main event.
And like I said, I think Raquel is going. She's going up. I don't. I
Yeah,
think that now
absolutely.
it's her time, and I can't wait to see what happens with that. Sami Zayn and Karrion Kross.
My bad, y'all. My bad. I
So
ain't
they
mean to
did.
yell in
We
y'all
do
ear.
all these fucking talk about Karrion Kross and how we want this and how we want that, and then he turns around and fucking loses.
I needed him to win. He needed to win.
I'm off the Karrion Kross
Because
train.
Sammy, yes, Sammy deserves a win. Whatever. At the end of the day, Sammy's already Hall of Fame. Sammy's modern day Mick Foley.
You think so?
I think so, because his arc is chasing the title, not necessarily winning it.
I get that.
Him chasing the title makes him a more compelling character when we watch him. He'll win. He can win it and lose it the next day, and we'd be like, "Oh, okay, cool," because now he
Right.
got to go after it again. Kind of like Jey Uso, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Karrion has a wave in 2025 that I think deserves that push. Does he need to win World Heavyweight Championship? No.
I don't think that's
But
necessary.
if he can get in the Intercontinental title picture, okay, cool. Let's say AJ wins it from Dom. Or even if Dom keeps it, let Karrion come take it off of one of them.
I love Uncle AJ.
You see him with the
glasses.
glasses?
Yeah. I said, look at him. This is like a 40-something-year-old man. What do you give that match? Sammy and Karrion. I'm giving it a 2.
2.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 2. We moving on. Solo Sikoa.
Yes.
Jacob Fatu.
Yes.
For the United States Championship. Now, I'm not going to say my prediction was Solo, but I honestly did not think that they was going to let that title come from Jacob and go to Solo. I did not think that. I don't know how I feel about it. I am a Jacob Fatu fan. I like Solo too, but I prefer Jacob Fatu. And now we got now we got who came back? Tamatanga?
Tongaloa.
Tongaloa. Sorry,
The GOAT.
Tongaloa. And then they brother came, Halaku, Talatanga. Now we got
Tall Logan.
Now we got Talatanga, Tongaloa, and Tamatanga.
Fucking crazy.
Cool, I guess.
This goes back to our main topic.
Talamatangas. All the Tongas.
Man.
So Solo needed 3 people to help him win that title. I don't think that he's gonna hold it for long.
Not at all.
Jacob probably will get it back, or he won't, but Solo's definitely not holding that title long.
Solo's holding it to SummerSlam. Big arena match. Solo can get him in front of 50, 60,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I don't mind how this match went. My problem is this bland ass, big ass Samoan. No smut on his name. Hikuleo, I've seen your work in New Japan. Right? Okay, it's respected, but
is this gonna
you
be?
seem like generic Samoan number 7.
And I mean, and I get what you're saying. I do. I get what you're saying. And I feel like every few months it's like we're building Bloodline 16.27. Like we're just we're building another bloodline. Let's do something else. Let's do something else. Every storyline now seems to have one person in the middle, and then they got people behind them. That's even Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, and Bronson.
It's pretty much always been like
it's just a bunch of people.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of people. I give that match. That match was actually really good. I'm going to give it a 4.5.
I give it a 4.
I think it was good.
4 out of 5.
Jade and Asuka. I thought Asuka was going to win, not because I don't like Jade, but just for some reason. Yeah. But I'm actually happy that Jade is the queen of the ring, and I'm not disappointed in that at all. Right. I'm good with that.
I said last week I thought she was going to win.
I wish they would have respected her more. Exactly. I wish that they didn't have to go through that.
I see where the story's going. So she had to do it no matter what the crowd was.
Right.
It just happened to be Saudi Arabia. Random. Why has there never been a PLE in Africa?
I don't know. We're going now. I don't know
My
nothing
bad.
about no
I didn't mean
PLEs in
to
Africa.
start a
I
wrong
don't
post.
know.
It's in every continent except for Antarctica and Africa. And Antarctica is understandable.
I'm not really sure that our Antarctica will work.
Exactly. I said it's understandable.
John Cena versus CM Punk was a good match because of all the added chaos.
Absolutely.
Because the rest of that shit they could have kept. You know, I feel like I feel like CM Punk went easy on John Cena.
Absolutely.
And you could see it. You know, you could see how easy he was going on him. And then the end with all that damn chaos. At first, I was like, damn, what are we even watching? I don't even remember what's going on. So, all these people, Seth Rollins, Penta, uh, fucking Sami Zayn, just everybody everywhere, just all over.
Yeah.
I did like the match due to the chaos, but without the chaos, I would not have been able. That shit would have been boring as hell.
Without the chaos, it'll reaffirm the fact that we know John Cena doesn't have the legs that he used to. And to a point, same with CM Punk. Now, CM Punk has been giving us great matches ever since he's come back to WWE.
He can wrestle, but John Cena
can
can't.
wrestle, but he can't wrestle like CM Punk used to wrestle.
Well, no. That's like me saying I can run full speed.
He took one step back. Cena took about 4 steps back.
That's true. But
so
people,
neither
they
one
get
of them.
Older. They got older.
Yeah. Everybody expected Money in the Bank 2011.
Right.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry y'all expected that. That was never going to be the thing. Both of these men are in their mid to late 40s. The body doesn't work like that. We can operate they can operate to the best of their ability. At the end of the day, they're older. You need that interference. You need that pizzazz to get that match forward. Right. Charles Robinson.
I was just getting
knocked off his ass.
Charles Robinson got knocked the
I love
fuck
him for
out.
that.
And he took what he took, and that was it.
I
Shout
love
out to
him
fucking
for that.
Charles Robinson.
Shout out.
All right. So that was Night of Champions. Raw was well, wait a minute. Raw was cool. SmackDown was cool. I'm gonna get into how I feel about certain part of SmackDown. Raw was cool. Raw was cool. It just.
You feel any better about Gunther versus Goldberg?
I don't care. That's really it. Like I don't give a fuck. Like I don't care. That's just one I don't care about. And I saw somebody say that Jay comes out to help everybody but Jimmy.
He does.
Like
he does.
And I just feel like that's just because
I saw that too.
He comes out to help everybody but Jimmy. But you know, it is what it is. Raw was good. SmackDown was cool. We had CM Punk come out with the Thuganomics.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we moving on. Night of Champions was good. SmackDown was cool. Oh, they had the little SmackDown issue with the power cord or whatever, and it cut off, and then they tried to give us cell phone footage.
Dumb shit.
I mean, it was cool. That's all I have to keep saying. It was good.
Yeah, mistakes happen.
Yeah, it was good. I watched Raw twice just to make sure I wasn't missing anything, and I wasn't. It was okay.
Any early thoughts on Evolution?
No thoughts right now. I have so many things that I'm thinking about as far as that's concerned.
Let's take a couple days.
We'll take a couple days and think about that.
We may reconvene next week.
All right, y'all. We are moving on to Saudi Arabia. We have already talked about it a little bit. Do we feel like the WWE should keep giving their money to Saudi Arabia when they're disrespecting their talent? I don't think so. However, we know we got TKO, which is the cash grab. This is all. This is a cash grab now.
The money cow.
And so they're going to keep giving that money to Saudi Arabia, regardless of how dangerous it could be to the women talent or the black women talent. Now, I'm not saying that people in Saudi Arabia are dangerous. Not at all. That's not where I'm getting at. I'm getting at if somebody was booing me and telling me, fuck you, I'm going to feel a certain way.
Yeah.
So like what I said, the crowd was kind of weird. Like the reactions were weird. Even with some of the males, like the pops just weren't like they normally would.
Yeah.
They normally would be. Like we got the CM Punk We got those. There was a couple, but some of them it was just like silence. So yeah, I mean the crowd was just not the type of crowd, uh, chant wise and stuff that we're normally used to. Um, just the disrespect for women just doesn't go good for me.
All right, my soliloquy
Go ahead.
in the words of Stephen A. Smith. Um, we're looking at a majority Muslim nation with a
True.
majority Muslim crowd. Um, with my limited knowledge, and it ain't limited. I know what I'm talking about.
My knowledge is very limited about
It's
Muslims. I don't
mine's is
know.
limited, but I also know what I'm talking about. The respect for women is at a bare minimum when it comes to those crowds, those countries. So
That's what we should expect.
ultimately, they're still going to go there for the money because the money is the money, and everybody gets paid. And they'll probably tell their women talent, okay, it ain't gonna be the reaction you used to. It ain't the reaction that you deserve.
Right.
Go out there and make $600,000. Go out there if you're a Tiffany Stratton, go out there and make $1 million for the next 2 nights, and then fly back home. And most of them, I think, they're willing to sacrifice because 10, 15 minutes of
Right.
bullshit because that's all they on the TV for.
Yeah.
They flew across the country. They're
Hmm.
on TV 10, 15 minutes. They're in front of that crowd 10, 15 minutes. They go backstage. They go back to their hotel. They back on that flight. You done made over $500,000 just on that alone. Because every time WWE goes over there, they make 50 million alone, just the company itself. And they were smart. They brought 16, 17, 17 wrestlers over.
Hmm.
Let's say you give each of them $500,000. You
They can
still
have
have
my
a
15
surplus
minutes.
to bring back to the company
Right.
and production and all that. You're winning. Most people, most of the wrestlers are okay with that. I can't judge you for that. But also, where you're coming from, I completely agree with you. But on some level, we got to be able to go, you signed up for it because you knew what you was walking into.
Right.
You knew the people that you were walking into.
Right.
So, do I feel bad about you making the biggest paycheck of your year? No,
Mm.
I really don't.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
it sucks you had to deal with that.
Right.
Jay Cargill in particular, she deserves better.
Yes.
That was completely unnecessary. That was just, and that ain't just Saudi Arabia. Shitty people are everywhere. We
Definitely.
we
We have some
see
shitty people over
we
here
see fans running into wrestlers at the airport on a regular basis, just doing the weirdest shit.
harassing
And
them and shit. Yeah.
yeah, if I could say anything else before I'm done, y'all cut that bullshit out.
Leave them
They
people.
regular
Yeah.
people, just like you are, just like we are.
Hmm.
Relax.
Leave them people
You'll see
alone.
them again.
Right. Right.
The fuck do you want out of them?
True.
That's my only spill on that.
Yeah. Leave them people alone. Uh, Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton calling that black man a boy.
This her second time. This her second straight. I don't like
Yeah.
it
And
for
I
her.
don't. And I'm gonna say this: everything is not racist,
It's not.
but
Read the room.
enough.
Read the
You
room.
know, I seen the thing that she posted with Jay and it said black bitch and blah blah. That
Yeah.
was a little much. That is a little much. It's not necessary.
Yeah.
You know, the word boy should never come out of a white person's mouth. You know, even there are people that are from the South and they use it a lot, and
Yeah.
it comes off as racist. Then
Yeah.
you know it comes off as
Absolutely.
racist. I'm like, what are you like? Yeah, it comes off as racist. So for Tiffany Stratton, you know, I feel like everything is not racist, but sometimes when you're in that type of spotlight, you need to think about what you say before you say it, regardless of if it's one word, two words, a look, any of those things, because now this has turned into something big that she now has to again defend herself
Mm-hmm.
over. So,
Agree.
Tiffany, girl, get it
Get it
together.
together.
Get it together. So I was on Threads There's a fucking fly in here. I hate flies. I was on Threads last week, and this is how this topic came to be. There was someone who said that the Samoan culture in the WWE, um, let's say specifically Jacob Fatu and the Usos, are pretending to
And
be
Roman.
black men.
And Roman.
Roman is not pretending to be anyone. He's his own person. But anyway, let's
Okay.
Roman too.
Okay.
Okay, so the Samoan culture in the WWE is pretending to be black. And me and her went back and forth about it. I don't know what happened to the post. She deleted the post or she blocked me. Um it is, I am going to say this, culture and race overlap, but they are different.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I asked this girl, I said, so when somebody tells you you speak white, what does that mean to you? So we're telling Jacob Fatu and the Usos that they're pretending to be black men because they decide that they want to wear J's and they want to wear baggier pants and they want to wear jerseys, and they look like what we would stereotype as the typical black male.
Mm-hmm.
But I really believe that for them, that's their culture. They're a part of a culture that we're a part of.
Right.
You know, where they grew up, what they went through. We know that Jacob was in prison.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So even with that, prison culture is another topic. They in there thugging it out.
Yeah.
White, black,
Yeah.
Hispanic,
You survive.
Chinese, whoever.
Yeah.
They're, so are we stereotyping black men by saying that they're pretending to be thugs?
So what you just said, yes. Yes.
That shit pissed me off.
And it should. It absolutely should. Black culture is not the worst of us.
No.
It's what's being represented. Shit. All right. How can I best say this? Black culture is the culture. The rest of the world does not accept it until they can put a tax on it.
True
until
that.
they could benefit from it.
I agree. I agree.
I mean, they goddamn. Sorry, y'all.
Well, I also believe what she said was they don't represent their own culture, which is also untrue.
Yeah.
Like, you know, then she gave this big excuse for Roman, and I'm like, you know, okay, what you're saying is the Usos, when they first started, didn't they come out doing the little, like, the stuff that their
Face
culture does,
paint,
face paint, they came out doing the whole little Samoan shebang.
Yeah.
And then she was like, well, now they're pretending to be black. I'm like,
how? We're black. That like, ain't black.
How are they pretending to be black? The Rock is half black. He's not. Now, you could say even with Roman, he started that Ulafala shit when in 2020.
Yeah.
That's when they started to teach us about the rankings of Samoans, him and The Rock, all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. The Ulafala, that is not weird. That's recent to me.
Just because they said Uso Penitentiary don't mean they black. No, y'all just own some thug shit. Thug
it's a culture thing.
Ain't just black. That's across the board. There's not a race on this planet that ain't got no thug shit in them.
Right. And I mean, also, like I said, I told her, I said, I had it in my, let me see if I can find it. But I told her, like, so again, if somebody tells you you talk white, are you appropriating white people? She was like, they're culture appropriating. And I'm like,
so I put on a suit and tie and go, hi, I'm Michael. Am I a culture vulture now? You sound white. No, that's stupid. Just because they may show an expression that somewhat is familiar to us doesn't mean that them in particular, are stealing from us.
right.
Now, when it comes to the system as a whole, WWE, they don't get that grace.
Yeah.
WWE does not get that grace when CM Punk comes out. Yeah, okay, he's intimidating. Oh, he's imitating John Cena.
Who
Who the
it,
fuck was John Cena imitating? Us.
what was it? Thuganomics?
Thuganomics.
Horrible. So you're mad at the Usos and Jacob Fatu and the Samoan culture, but you're not mad at the white people who were pretending to be us and using our shit as basically a mockery for their
Exactly.
character.
Exactly.
Like the Big Show. That happened too. Backwards
Yeah.
hat, sideways hat.
Yeah.
John Cena. When he was rapping.
Y'all was okay with Vince McMahon walking up to John Cena with Booker T 10 feet away and going, "What's up, my nigga?" And then turned around and gave that black man eye contact
Oh
with his wife right next to him, his black wife right next to him. So if we're gonna talk about, if you're gonna say the Samoans are still in black culture, let's look at the whole room.
You got to talk about all of it. You got to talk about that. And then the girl, she talked about who else did she say? Yokozuna, who was Samoan pretending to be Japanese.
Yeah.
So yes, that's probably not the best idea. But they're not pretending. They're not like, oh, we're black and this and that. They're not saying that.
Yeah.
They're not pretending to be a different race.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
They're
I don't
just
know.
coming out as is.
They're just coming out as is. And like I said, I told this girl, this is exactly what I wrote to her. I said, when you speak, do you talk white? Are you simply just a well-spoken black woman? Did you grow up in a hood or the suburbs? And does every black man present themselves as a thug and use slang? And like I said, I told her I'm asking because culture is a broad and complex topic, and it's not the same for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And so she got kind of shitty at me and was just like, I'm not entertaining your nonsense and blah, blah, blah. And I was just trying to understand, like, are you just upset with Samoan culture for some
What was
reason?
her ethnicity?
Black.
Now that's even more of a problem because you just want to be a victim at this point.
Yeah, I thought it was weird.
Because you should know better.
Yeah, I was like, "What's wrong, girl?" I really wanted for her to respond back and for us to talk about it, but it didn't happen that way.
And whoever she's talking to, I'm sure you're gonna hear us. By all means, feel free to reach out.
Please.
Let's have this conversation because I think on some level you know better.
Yeah.
Which is why you blocked her. And if I'm wrong, please, if we're wrong, reach back out. Let's have this conversation where we could be heard,
right,
in voice versus words. Because maybe you got your point across wrong. Maybe we misunderstood it wrong.
Right.
Or maybe we understood it wrong. Regardless, this is the storyline.
Right.
This is where you had the opportunity. We all a part of this. We a community. We one big ass family.
So, and another thing that I was saying to her is, we put this extra tax on certain shit when it comes to being black, and I understand that.
Yeah.
But you're out here letting DJ Khaled say nigga, Cardi B is saying nigga, Fat Joe is saying nigga. None of these are niggas.
Yeah.
Like none of them.
Facts.
You're okay because their skin color is a little darker, or they remind you of a dark skinned African American black person, or they remind you of a light skinned black person, but they're not black
at all.
So what is the difference? Do we say anything about Cardi and her wigs and long ass nails and say she's appropriating black people?
No.
Do we say anything about Fat Joe's clothes because he's appropriating black people?
Not at all.
So we're jumping down wrestlers' throats and stepping on their necks about black culture, but we're not willing to speak out about black culture when it comes to musicians and artists and things like that. We're going to target the Usos and Fatus and, all of those things, the Roman Reigns and, the Rikishis and this the Samoan bloodline in general.
Everybody wants to be a victim.
I get that.
And that's the shitty part about our society in 2025. Everybody wants to be a fucking victim. Nobody wants to be held accountable. Everybody wants their voice heard.
Right.
Their problem, which is why you got blocked, because somebody went back to her and went back to her and went, no, you sound dumb as fuck.
And I don't know if she blocked me or she just took it down, but it's gone. So whatever. Um, culture sales, I'm guessing, for the WWE.
Absolutely.
You know,
it never has not.
Culture sales for them. And I'm not attacking culture. I'm attacking culture appropriation.
Yeah.
The John Cena Thuganomics thing is totally unacceptable if you look at it in this day. That would never be able to happen now.
Yeah.
It's not.
But let the rest of the world tell you, oh, he was just Eminem.
Not at all, ever.
I've heard it.
Even Kurt Angle.
Damn, man, I love Kurt Angle, but yeah, that was
Kurt Angle, The Big Show,
that
The
was
Miz.
out of pocket. The Miz.
Like, come on now,
but then
y'all.
The black wrestlers that you do have that are of the culture, you treat them like shit,
and they don't act like that.
Or true.
He was a joke for a minute.
He was a joke for the last 15 years.
Right. If y'all hear my kids in the background, I'm sorry. I told them to be quiet, but all of a sudden they're starting to make a lot of noise. Yeah, a joke.
Montez Ford, Angelo Dawkins, they are top 3 tag teams in the company. And it ain't 3 or 2 either, in my opinion. I don't think nobody can do what they do. I think Montez Ford is. I think Seth Rollins is the white Montez Ford.
I can see that.
And that's a wild take.
And I can't even see that, because my take on Seth now, not the alarm. My take on Seth Rollins now is that he's just okay to me.
Yeah.
He's just okay to me. He's in a feud right now. I just seen that he's feuding with 8 people right now. And that's unnecessary. Some of the stuff is unnecessary. Seth Rollins, we do not need to see him and CM Punk. We've been doing this all year. Now we're back to him and CM Punk just beating each other's asses randomly.
But we can't get our black superstars on PLEs. Yeah. They'll be on a SmackDown beforehand. Or fucking New Day loses to.
I was okay for that.
I was okay with it because the New Day is. They've had their run.
They have, and I'm sick of it. I could go without them.
Yeah, but they couldn't have lost it on the PLE.
That's true.
You couldn't put them on the
That's true. They could have lost it on the PLE.
Now, maybe they didn't want to go to Saudi Arabia, but that's 2 pay-per-views a year. Outside of WrestleMania, when was the last time we saw them?
Randomly, just talking shit in the back, but that's it.
Dumb shit. I don't. We're not making this a race thing at all.
It's a culture thing.
It's a culture thing, and we're gonna also point out the irregularities.
Yeah, it's a culture thing, and my thing again is culture. Cultures can overlap with races, like with race, not racist, but with race. I know a lot of white thugs. I know a lot of white people who open up their mouth and you could swear that they were black, but I also know a lot of black people can open up their mouth and you would swear that they were white.
Yeah.
You know, so I just thought that was just, it was really far fetched. Black men are not all thugs. They are well spoken. They do dress nice. They are
articulate. Are not a monolith.
They are them. You know, no shade to any other race. You know, I love me a black man. And I'm always going to stand up for them and for that. You know, to say that they're trying to be black men and what we see on the screen is a thug doesn't make sense to me.
And your parallel pointing that back to a black man is fucking wild.
Yeah.
If you see the Samoans doing what the fuck they do, that's society. That ain't them imitating black men, because black men ain't that. Right. We're not just that. Just like any other race, like she said, it's a spectrum. There's a wide variety, because some of the worst motherfuckers that you will ever come across in this life are not black men.
True.
So let's stop that Let's stop that stigma. Let's stop that insinuation, especially from the voices of our own people.
Yeah.
They're not stealing our culture, not our culture, because our culture does not solely rely on negative violence, drugs, saggy pants, Jordans,
Jerseys,
jerseys, all that bull.
dreads,
Yeah, dread. As a man that got dreads, that ain't even no.
golds, gold teeth. They don't have anything to the people. I love me a gold tooth on a Samoan, on a black person, on a white person, a white lady, a white man. I mean, I love it on all.
Yeah,
That does not necessarily say this is black men's culture or this is black men because they wear golds.
facts.
Like Bianca
We got to
Belair
stop
wears
that
golds
shit.
and she's a woman.
Exactly.
Like we can't keep doing that. We can't keep boxing black men in and it's like putting a person in a box and then sprinkling all this bullshit in there and saying this is the only thing that black men have to offer in the world.
And then let them come out outside of that box. Y'all judge them.
Right.
Y'all talk shit. And that's not okay.
Yeah. And getting passionate about, black people and black men, it's just it's just like for me, y'all got to get kinder. I actually got y'all have to be kind and y'all have to think more before you speak, especially black women. Stop downing these black men. Stop it. It doesn't make sense. You wrote that entire paragraph about black men and culture and the Samoans stealing black culture and pretending to be black men. But what I seen was a negative interpretation of a black man.
God, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So, again,
That's
this
it.
is a wrestling podcast, but it matters. It makes a difference. You can't be like that. Again, Samoans have their own culture, which overlaps with our culture, just like there are white peoples that overlap with our culture. Just like over in Japan, their hip hop culture is crazy. Why are we boxing in black men when the culture is everywhere?
We are the culture until y'all can decide how y'all want to tax it. And it's fucking shitty. Whatever.
Okay.
Regardless, I think we had our moment in this.
Yeah, we had our rant. But, back to wrestling.
Back to it.
Back to wrestling. Yeah.
What we looking forward to next?
Well, forward to in general, just with
Yeah,
the
yeah.
pod
What are
or
you looking forward to
in a
next?
couple of weeks we do have our Chris Benoit panel that will be happening.
Absolutely.
It will be I will let y'all know more about it and when they will drop. It will be at the end of July and at the beginning of August. It will be a 2-part panel. So y'all get ready for that. Listen to that. Mike, what you got too? You got the trivia question for this week?
Oh, before I get to the trivia question, to her point, the Chris Benoit um, panel. Anybody that wants a voice in this, feel free to reach out to either one of us or to the podcast Instagram page. It's let's talk storyline.
We also have an email, which is the storylinepod@gmail.com.
Absolutely. Now, as far as wrestling question of the week, look, my bad, y'all. I'm still in the middle of it because we got on a tangent and I kind of lost my original question, which is
My
all
brain
good.
has went south
Man,
now. I'm like, oh, okay, well,
give me this. Who? And I don't want y'all to just go Google this shit because that takes the fun out of this. It's 2025. We know. Um, give me who was the youngest world heavyweight champion? How old was he? And who did he beat? And when?
you got to they have the what do you call
I'm
it?
not giving them options at all. No, you tell me who is the youngest to this day world heavyweight champion. Who did they beat? When did they beat them? I know the answer off the top of my head, and I ain't even got to look.
My son is sitting right here. Do you know the answer, baby?
No.
You don't know the answer. Say hi, y'all.
Hi.
Yeah. He'll go Google it and come back and tell us the answer later. Um,
What else
well,
you got?
I don't have anything else, Mike. You want to close the show out? Let us know
Sure.
what you got for next week and
Yeah.
all of that.
Next week, my main topic is wrestling traumas. Shit that we've gone through over the years that we don't agree with, that stuck with us to this day. I have a few of them. I'll give you one in particular. The way Brock Lesnar has been booked for the last 20 years.
I am not a Brock Lesnar
It
fan
is a
at
trauma
all.
for me. We could delve in, get a lot deeper. If anybody has any other suggestions or your own wrestling traumas, by all means, reach out, DM us, email us.
Yes.
We'll add them to the conversation. Love the interaction and the engagement. Aside that, we're gonna go over SmackDown review, and I guess we gotta start. Maybe we gotta start some NXT, AEW.
I want to. I Yes, we definitely do. I've been watching a little AEW and a little NXT. I have been. I've been watching the highlights and things like that, and I've been trying to get into it. Sometimes the WWE just overtakes everything with
Exactly.
everything that they have going on. But it was something else that I wanted to say, but I just forgot. Yes, son. Okay, my son wants to ask a question.
What's better, NXT, AEW, or WWE?
Great question.
Great question, son. We'll see what they say. We'll get it. My son wants to know what's best for y'all. Like, what do y'all think is best?
Please.
Oh, you think it's
Okay.
AEW?
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, please interact with us. Let us know your opinions. Let us
Yes.
know how we can make this better for y'all. Because
Yes.
we're here to serve. Other than that, we appreciate you guys dropping into the
Absolutely.
Storyline Podcast. My name is Mike J,
My name is Felicia.
and we will see you guys next week. God bless.
Bye.